Hola, ¿cómo están? Muy buenos días. Esta mañana vamos a hablar de lenguaje con Lara Borodesky, lingüista. Y bueno, pues tenemos la pregunta y en una ocasión platicamos con ella. Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Eso es una pista de que van a tener que leer subtítulos. Entonces, este segmento es hablar de lenguaje, escuchar inglés y practicarlo y también leer. ¿Qué les parece? Muy completo, ¿verdad? Bueno, en fin. The question I have for you is about how language is evolving, and if it is happening right now, especially with the younger generation. No, I've heard some, grandparents or even us said, "I'm talking with this teenager. I don't know what he means," and with all this textings and all this instant messaging and all that, is it happening, and how is it happening?
Yeah, language is always changing. So one thing that's true across every generation is that always the older folks say the younger people are killing language. Soon there will be no more language left because they've simplified it so much, or they talk in this way that I don't understand. That's something that's been true for thousands of years. And that's just a normal function of humans always changing language to suit our needs. It's a tool that we use. And so as young people are growing up in a different world, they have new technology, they're using the incredible productive power of the human mind to invent all these new ways of communicating and all of these different ways to shorten things, to lengthen things, to make new conventions. And part of the reason they do that is so that older people like us don't understand them.
Exactly. So how does it happen? For example, let's say I just create something and I just give him any name. For example, I can take anything and just give it a name. If nobody or that name doesn't exist, or how does a word is born?
Well, if you have something that people want to talk about, right, and you give it a name, people will use the name that you give it. But if you have something people don't want to talk about, then you'll be the only one who knows that word.
So it has to be something that it needs to be like a common, something that everybody needs or wants to transmit, correct?
Or at least something that becomes popular. So take an example like selfie, right? So we didn't have selfies 20 years ago, but now it becomes something that everyone wants to talk about, so the word can spread, and not just in English, but across lots of languages that borrow the word.
Can it be accidental? For example, I'm taking a picture of myself. Yeah, una selfie. Can it be like that, and somebody it happens by accident also?
It can happen in lots of ways. Let me give you the example. In English, we now have this common phrase, wardrobe malfunction. This is what happens when, in a televised context, someone loses their clothes in a way that wasn't expected. This phrase is now very, very common in English, but it didn't exist before Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson performed together. He apologized for the, quote, wardrobe malfunction, and that was the first time anyone had heard that, and now it's this very common phrase.
Incredible. Now, how does that, we're talking about evolving and how a word is born, but how does a word or a language disappears?
Well, we're losing languages really quickly. So there are about 7,000 languages now, and we're losing about one every 2 weeks. Languages disappear.
What? How?
One every 2 weeks.
Wow.
They're dying out very quickly because a lot of languages don't have a lot of speakers left, and so when the last speakers of a language die, we lose the language. And of course, languages can die for lots of reasons. Sometimes there's economic pressure, sometimes there's disease. There are all kinds of reasons that a language stops being spoken. But every language contains so much cultural knowledge. It's heartbreaking to see all of that knowledge disappear because it provides us a connection to our past.
Wow, very interesting. Well, thank you very, very much. Espero que esto haya sido tan interesante como para nosotros lo fue. Y Lara tiene un TED Talk. Y bueno, pues si lo quieren buscar, lo pueden encontrar. Aquí está la información para que puedan escuchar un poquito sobre esta plática sobre el lenguaje. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for the tea.
Oh, yes.
Té ruso. Exactamente. Salud.
Salud.